The Persian-Kurdish word Kolbar translates to one who carries a load. It's used to describe those who carry goods illegally across the mountainous border between Iran and Iraq and elsewhere in the region. And Kolbars in Iranian Kurdistan carry loads in many senses of the phrase. They turn to the job out of economic desperation, and dozens of them die each year, the majority shot by Iranian border guards, others falling to their deaths or buried by avalanches. Well, a new graphic novel out Friday here in France sheds light on their difficult circumstances. Les Oiseaux de papier, or paper birds, is a gripping account of one Kolbar expedition interwoven with a love story. It's by Iranian cartoonist Mana Neyestani, who joins me on set to tell us more about it. Mana Neyestani, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming. Can you just start by explaining a bit more about what Kolbars in Iranian Kurdistan and what made you want to tell their stories?
Okay, so many years that Iran facing with the problem of Kolbars in Kurdistan. It's not a new thing, unfortunately. So 4 or 5 years ago, I thought about a story about them to put them on in the spotlight, probably to make more focus on them. And so I started to make some interviews with some real Kolbars in Iran. It wasn't easy for me, of course, because I'm a refugee here. And it's not easy to tell a story about a place that you are not allowed to go to but I try to make it. I try to make my work.
And it is such an interesting story for people like me. I hadn't heard about Kolbars until I read your book. Can you maybe talk a bit about the profiles of Kolbars and what leads these people to take on this job? The main character in your novel, for example, is an engineer.
If you know the area, the Kurdistan, Iran, so unfortunately, it's facing with poverty, so many discriminative laws and behaviors from the authority, and it's not only the Islamic Republic. Even before the revolution, the Kurdish people of Iran and Kurdistan had so many problems with the authority. So the ethnic problems and etc. So many of them are educated people, had no choice but working as Kolbar. There is no industry there, no factories, no real job. So for gaining a little bit of money, they accept many risks and dangers to go to the mountains, take the loads, and do this job.
And the story goes back and forth between the expedition and then the daughter of one of the more experienced Kolbars. She's also having a secret relationship with a man who's on the mission, that engineer that I mentioned. Can you talk a bit more about why you included her as a character?
As an author, I do not design everything like like engineering the story. Some parts are so come from my heart or it's not in. But in overall, I can get a distance from the story right now and say you can see some aspects of patriarchy from the story of the girl and the women problem in Iran, in different parts of Iran, especially in the small cities.
Yeah, the book, I think, sends a very strong message against patriarchy. And I don't want to give anything away, but the story is quite tragic. Can you say maybe what you see as the message of the novel? Is it a hopeful one?
It's just a simple story about a difficult situation, I can say. It's about trying to survive in this situation. It's about a bunch of people try to survive. And, it's not that much informative, I think, although it gives you some information about the situation. But I hope that it encourages you to seek for the information from the better sources.
And you have mentioned before that the Iranian government had in the past promised to improve the situation for Kolbars. Has there been any progress at all?
This is a sad thing. Nothing's changed really. When I started to make this story, the situation was like this, the current one. Nothing's changed. Everything is worse right now. The Kolbars is still getting shot by the frontier guards, or by avalanche, or by other dangers, and they have to do this job, continue this job, and nothing's changed.
And in your book, all of the people on the expedition are men, but you've mentioned in the note at the end of the book that women are among them now as well.
Yes, you can find some women that they do this Kolbar job as well. Yeah.
And you mentioned that you are a refugee from Iran here in France, and you've also made a number of cartoons dedicated to the ongoing anti-regime protests. What's been your experience watching those protests unfold from afar?
Combination of hope, fear, sometimes frustration, desperation, sometimes happiness. I see the changes happening in culture, in society, in people, and it's good changes. I can say. The main slogan is "Woman, Life, Freedom." It shows that it has modern aspects. It started with women's rights, and it's very, very hopeful.
And can you maybe tell us a little bit more about your own experience in Iran and what forced you to leave?
It's something about 15 or 16 years that I'm out of Iran. When I was in Iran, I was working as a cartoonist, editor cartoonist as well, and of course, with a lot of limitations, censorship and everything, using metaphors to do the, critics in a not direct way, indirect way. So a lot of problems. Right now it's different for me from distance. Of course, the pressure of the government, the regime is less than before. More freedom to talk about the situation of country, but it's exile.
And Kurdistan was the home region of Mahsa Amini, and also where these protests have been the most violently repressed. Why is the region seen as such a threat by Iranian authorities?
I don't know. They always have problem with course. They are very brave. They do not obey the authority. They have kind of they are so unified against the regime from the beginning of the revolution. It was like that. So they are really, really a good role model for all Iranian to fight against the suppression.
All right, Mana Neyestani, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in. A reminder, that's Iranian cartoonist Mana Neyestani. His latest graphic novel, Les Oiseaux de papier, or Paper Birds, comes out this Friday here in France.